Hello. Welcome to the B-Cast.
We keep changing names. B-Cast.
B-Cast.
Why can't we be A-Cast? A for
Bow
alpha.
chicka wow wow.
What?
What's going on?
Nothing much.
What's going on, boys? How are we doing?
I'm good. We had some fun. That's why we're late. And
We
we're
had a
gonna make
super
this.
Yeah, we might need to
time.
make this a shorter
Yeah,
episode.
we're gonna make this turbo episode. Everybody's on like super ADHD now.
Normally we do our recordings at 10 p.m.
Like-
and we decided to play a Commander game at 9:30 and that
Danny
lasted
has
us
just
a little
given
too
us
long.
some of his blood. Now we are like ADHD powered up.
Where
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
suck
yeah.
my blood out of?
This Red Bull can is what I've sucked your blood out of.
From the
Yeah, those
attack.
new coconut Red Bull cans are sick.
So we played a game of Commander using was it
The Fallout decks,
The
yeah.
Fallout decks, pretty fun.
It was
I
super
played,
rad.
Yeah, super rad.
I'm pretty sure I won, but William cheated.
No.
I'm fairly certain.
I'm
fairly
I
certain
did
at the
the
end.
3 junk token and got my double striker in.
I
William
thought-
got down to
I
win or
thought
die.
you used a land to sacrifice it and draw 3 cards.
Not draw 3 cards, just exile 3 cards.
So what do you mean you junk chunked it in? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
so I sacrificed the land and get three junk tokens.
So for the audience members, they got down to like win or die on William's term, and William just started firing off terms. He's like, "Oh, I do this and do this. This happens. This happens. Oh, sorry, I didn't do this, guys. And this cut happens."
No,
and then,
he, like Danny forgot the trigger, so
and then both me and Danny we just couldn't keep up with what's
Well,
going on.
in your defense, Ken, you did most of the work, and I just tried to win in the end.
well, I did get the 3 cards in the end. So the 3 cards helped me.
Yes, but if I tell myself that you cheated in my head, I'll feel better.
Okay, fine.
It was the amateur mistake of we booted up a pre-cons only Commander game, expecting us to finish within 30 minutes, and an hour later we're still in the game.
Yeah.
So
I had a lot of lands coming in tapped. A lot of those, buddies.
yep. Anyway, we ended last episode on a topic that I'm very passionate about. The methods. Do
Yeah.
you have any method stories, William? No. All right. Anyway, so Danny,
He does live in Ellenbrook. He's pretty close to
is
them.
method the
Not really.
does methods have crackheads? I thought it's been. Does it? I thought it's been like.
Does meth heads have crackheads?
Oh, yeah. No, sorry, does
Well, there
Ellenbrook
is- I
have
think
methods?
There is a lot
There is a
of,
lower socioeconomic like section of Ellenbrook for sure.
but
definitely
you
the
do know
further-
like Ellenbrook has the highest, like people who pay off their mortgage highest is in Ellenbrook.
Really?
Yeah, it's the highest.
It's all the meth.
It's more than 30%.
Do you know my because I'm a big super nerd in primary school. I was friends with my vice principal. Is that what it is? What's
EVP?
yeah, vice principal. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we would do instead of going to lunch like the cool kids, we would go play video games, and he would show us how to use spreadsheets and stuff in the computer room.
I really thought you were going to lead that on to he would show us how to do math.
Yeah, well,
And then
and anyway, side tangent to the side tangent story. He once showed us he had a brand new USB, and it was like when their first USB.
Oh,
first
a
brought out.
USB.
Do you want to guess how much memory that first USB had?
Like 6 gigabytes.
1 gigabyte.
Way lower.
No,
than that.
128 GB.
was-
128 MB. Sorry.
It was 12 megabytes
Whoa.
on the entire, and I think it cost him like $100 and something.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Brand new technology when it first
I
came in.
remember like when I first bought my first MP3 player, it was like 8 MB. It cost me like $100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And a gigabyte of storage was a big deal.
And then you can put like
I don't think the computers had a
six-
gigabyte
you
of
can
storage.
you can put
then.
like what 16 songs or like 10 songs in it.
Yeah, I
you
don't-
have to be like really selective on your songs.
yeah, it was like less than some CDs.
Technology was really like fickle back then because just a single new feature would be a whole.
you know
piece of
you know
technology.
what? I really appreciate that time because you really look into the songs that you really want to hear.
Yeah.
Not like now, Spotify, you just chuck everything into your playlist.
Well,
and they're like, I don't like this, skip. I don't
Remember
like
when
this,
the iPod Shuffle came out and just the shuffle feature itself was the entire new technology.
Yes, yeah. Because I used to, before that I had a Movo, an MUVO player, and it was a USB like
Do you have a
MP3 player.
Zune, a Microsoft Zune?
Nah, I was way too poor for that. And you would put the on there, and you would click it left and right with like a left and right button. That was it. And like just the name of it would come like a digital.
Yeah.
The digital name would come across the screen.
I
That
wish it
was
still had some. Just like in a wardrobe somewhere as a bit of just memories.
If you have an
Bring it
old
out.
iPod, you're rich.
It has to be in good
Really?
condition.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I'm a workable condition, you're rich.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like few
Apple's
K.
collectible.
Well, anyway, back to the start of the story. I was lucky because halfway through with that story, I forgot what I was telling the first story for. But then we took long enough that I remembered what it was about. Anyway, the vice principal, built a house in Ellenbrook when I was in primary school, and he was telling us how they were going to get a train station.
That was a long time ago.
And a
20 years ago.
and a TV,
Wait, hold on. We're finally getting the train station this week.
So
This week.
I'm 33, so I was in primary school quite a while ago, and then I remember seeing him years later, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was playing volleyball at the junior in the volleyball center, and I saw him. He was there, and I was like, "Oh, Nigel, what's going on?" We were talking about it, and he's like, "Yeah, we nearly got the train station," and now it's another 5 years after that, and the train station is finally going in. But like I don't know how long you've been in Ellenbrook for, though.
10 years.
10 years. In the early days,
Much changes.
They had nothing. There was no petrol station. You had to go to that one on the Wangau Road, which is like half an hour away. It's like, who wants to drive half an hour? Maybe 20 minutes, whatever. 20 minutes to go get fuel if you have to. There's no shopping centers, no bus stations, nothing. It was
Now it's
desolate
just
out there.
maxed out.
I guess
20 gyms, 20 bottle shops.
I guess at least it's like a good investment for the
Maccas.
future because you buy early and then it builds up around you.
Well, if you buy early, it's cheap. Now it's like, I thought Ellenbrook was affordable. It's not.
Yeah, not now. Yeah.
I was like, heck no. Like, if you want to move now, you almost need $1 million to buy a house in Ellenbrook.
Well, it's either 32 or 36 suburbs in Australia have moved into the median $1 million housing market.
Yeah.
So that's been moving into that. I think we're sitting at about 24, 25.
It's pretty much anything that's 15 minutes from the city is now around $1 million,
yeah,
right?
pretty much, yeah.
No, Ellenbrook is like 30 minutes.
Well, same goal.
Yeah.
But like
It's like $1 million. Like
perimeter suburbs go
small
from
house for $1
being
million.
like crack dens
Yeah.
to being pretty gentrified. Is that what we can expect from Yanchep in, let's say, like
I think
10
so,
years'
yeah.
time?
Oh,
So-
way higher because they're still coastal. So
Yeah.
they'll go higher again. Like
Coastal.
I grew up in Queen's Rocks, and that was a very not good place. And in the time that I've been there to now the properties go for $1 million, and they're like not houses you want for $1 million. But that's if you want that block of land, that's what you get. Plus, in those suburb towns, the beach towns, they were old like shanty houses, so they're actually really big blocks. So most of them are quarter acre size. So it's a lot.
Quarter acre is huge.
Yeah, huge,
Hey, where do you
yeah.
think the crackheads go? Or do they just die?
No, I think when
The natural
if-
lifespan expectancy, they die within like 30 years.
I like to
and by
imagine
then
it's
it
like
gets gentrified.
elderly dogs where they just wander into the bush.
wait, hold on. If my understanding is correct, like when a suburb, like the prices go up, like the housing go up, and the government tend to sell the housing and then move on to like a cheaper
Absolutely, yeah.
place, and then that's when they move as well.
So in the early days, most of the homes west, we're talking about the 50s, 60s, 70s, most of the homes west houses in WA were in Yokine. And now Yokine is incredibly gentrified. Like it's, that area itself is 5 minutes, 6 minutes from the city. And that's where most of the homes
It's actually tricky to me because all the suburbs in my brain were like the poorer suburbs nowadays just aren't really the poorer suburbs
Yeah,
anymore.
because then after
But
the
what
70s,
are the poorer
moved-
suburbs anymore?
Well, it's-
really like
they're-
perimeter suburbs are like fairly new now as well.
most of them are further southeast. So you're looking at like out towards like Treeby, anywhere on the way towards Armidale is very
We
much
just keep
like that.
pushing the poor all the way to the inner of Australia.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, it's like if you lived in Yokine or in Balladura in the 80s and 90s, where a lot of that Homes West housing was, there were proper houses, 3-4 bedrooms, still with swimming pools, on proper size blocks. Now, though, it's like the housing blocks are 250 to 300 square meters, and that's very small. It's not very livable. You can't have more than 2 or 3 children if you're going to live in that house. You know what I mean? So it's not only that the people who are doing a bit more hard done by are being pushed further out, which is effectively what happened with me in Banksia Grove, right? It's like you're pushed further out to afford that thing, but it also means you're limited on what you can do. Like you can't have as many children. You can't go to certain jobs because it's much harder to get to them, that kind of stuff.
Do you reckon we're going to get more vertical as a city? The general way other cities go is
The biggest problem is we're not doing that enough, nowhere near enough. All of the vertical build in Australia, Western Australia, is all very premium flats. So if you go through Bigton,
inner city.
Applecross, Como, anywhere close, they've got massive like Cottesloe is really big. They've got quite a few really big ones.
yeah,
but there's
I think like Scarborough as well.
yeah, but their apartments are all starting at $1 million. Like these are very fancy, luxurious, high class areas, like where you're getting these high class like domiciles.
I guess like you need to be high end because you need to be the maintenance is really high as well, right?
Yes, the strata,
because
right? The strata can do a lot more.
For a high rise, you need to maintain because there's a lot of common ground.
It's a logistical issue then.
Yeah, so you need to like maintain the entrance, the lift, and everything, right? So if you're selling it cheap, then how are you going to maintain all of these facilities then?
If you go east towards like Bayswater, there's some multi-story apartment buildings that look very much like out of the hood stuff from like the USA. It's just big square blocks, like very cheap frontage, and they look quite rough after all these years.
So we're not going the way of density. We're going for like spread out.
That's the big people argue is that we're not doing that enough. Like on Stirling Highway, if you go drive down towards Cottesloe area, there's a really big apartment building where all of the apartments are starting at $1 million, right? But it's a beautiful piece of architecture. Like it's designed incredibly well. Like all these different colored facades and bricks and arcs, like arches, and there's plants everywhere. Like a big thing you see a lot is they've really tried to do that. Have you guys played with like Anno 2077?
Yeah. Any of those city builder games?
Hold on. I'm just going to get some water. You guys keep talking.
Sure.
Okay.
And like you have these buildings where they've really invested in putting plants and greenery and regrowth in it so that it looks like something from the future. A lot of that's there. But what Western Australia's general plan is to go further north, further south. So
we're just spreading out more.
Yeah, we're heading further along the coastline.
I guess the main thing is that realistically speaking, we have a lot of space to spread out on.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, it stretches out quickly, right?
Yeah.
So if you go south towards Bunbury, there's a suburb called Australand. It
used to be 30 minutes out of the city and you were reaching the perimeters.
Correct.
Now you're still in suburbia now.
Well, Bunbury is roughly 2 hours away, right? And Australand is pretty much that same area. They 2 or 3 years ago lodged for their metro status. So what that would mean is at the moment, metro stops effectively at Falcon, which is about 20 minutes south of Mandurah. And at the moment, it ends roughly around Yanchep, right? I believe Two Rocks is now considered metro because it has what really means when you get metro, it means you get certain rates, you get certain like things for your bins get picked up, you get certain rights. Yeah, you get postage stuff
so
like that.
So you're getting recognized almost as a individual community.
Yeah, Ellenbrook used to be rural. Now it's metro as well.
Absolutely, yeah. But with Australand lodging for their rural metro status, which they will eventually get, it won't happen maybe this year or next year, but it will happen fairly soon. That means that our rural north goes all the way up to Gingin. Like it's far.
Oh, man.
Like Australand's 2 hours away. So if you could drive from Perth 2 hours north, you're getting to like Seabird, where the Pinnacles are. All those places get added in. Now they don't.
But the average person doesn't need to visit the city no more.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, not really. So, I only go to city like once every like 2, maybe 3 months.
Yeah, I wouldn't even do that. Like if we're going when I was maybe a little bit younger, we're clubbing, obviously you're going there for clubs, but it's a bit of a nightmare. But I'd go there for no other reason other than that. Maybe like the Christmas parade when all the kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like entertainment maybe, and that's about it, right?
Do you see there's another nightclub opening up in Joondalup?
Wow.
What? So there's
it's sustaining it at this point now because more and more people are looking for
I guess there's more younger people who are like coming into this area. Like there's Loop, which used to be Dusk, and there was Dusk, then Arcade, now it's Loop. It's the same owners, same people. There's a new one going in as Panda, and it's
who names these?
Well, it's definitely heading towards the more of like an immigrant style thing where it's like
it's been a recent trend in a lot of clubs you see around Perth is all like the Asian themed ones.
Yeah, well this one's more of like a lean towards like African, like Afro beats and all that kind of stuff. So obviously there's a lot of like African migration to these northern suburbs if they think assume they've done their research to say, okay, we think there's enough people in this population that are going to come and visit this kind of style. At least enough white kids being like, I'm a cool guy.
Well, the African influence is big now, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, talking about new stuff as well, you were going back into skateboarding, right?
Yeah, today, and I got immediately sunburned. It was really cool.
So,
that's what you're doing today.
I recently got into sports again, and
what are you playing?
I'm playing pickleball.
I've been hearing about pickleball on podcasts a lot. I was actually thinking about
is pickleball what it's made out to be?
It's great. It's great. So you play in the same court size as a badminton court.
Okay.
And then
so it's smaller.
It's smaller than a tennis court, definitely.
Yeah.
So
is it tennis vigorous, but slower?
It's slower.
It's slower.
It's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Because your ball is hard, so it's not as
it's not going as fast.
Yeah, correct. It's still fast. It's just not as quick.
Okay.
And I feel like it's fun.
It's indoor.
I've been thinking about it a lot.
Indoor, outdoor.
Is there a lot of people doing it? Where are you doing it?
There is a lot of community doing it. So we have one group in Ellenbrook. There's a group in Wanneroo as well. There's a group in Joondalup. There's a group in Hillary's. as a group in Sorrento.
Should we go up and play pickleball with Will?
Maybe.
And
Because I've been
you can
thinking
play
about
one
doing
room.
more
One room
indoor.
group is pretty good. Like you pay like $10 or $15. They provide the pedal for you as well.
Because I was thinking about doing some more indoor sports.
This is outdoor.
My local,
it's not bad. It's not bad. Really not bad.
my local Kingsway like recreation club has futsal, like indoor.
Oh yeah, futsal's really really popular.
But I'm also, I don't know if I can keep up with the futsal.
I don't like
So maybe
futsal.
pickleball.
One thing is because it's a contact sport.
It's contact sport.
Yeah, it's like soccer.
Futsal is.
Oh, futsal. Yeah. I thought pickleball was. I was like,
Have you
hitting people with
seen
the
that
rackets?
that new soccer like thing that iShow Speed's come up with?
No, what is it?
So do you know who iShow Speed is?
I know.
Okay.
Is that-
So he's this
yeah.
like online guy, if anyone who doesn't know, and he's like generally aimed at more the younger people, but he's made a lot of money, like a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think
And,
he's like top 5 YouTubers
he's
right now.
starting a new league, like a big like international league, and he's got a heap of extremely famous footballers on deck with this to support it and promote it. And it's it's like soccer but on a smaller field, and there's offside the offside rule, which is designed to stop people doing the wrong thing. They've kind of readjusted it so that it's designed. If you turn backwards during the game, you give a free kick to your opponent straight away.
Whoa.
So the idea is there's no in big like regular soccer. It's much more tactical. It's considered like a chess piece, and that's like a chess game where you pass around a lot to try and then defeat your opponent
Yeah,
to
you
get
find an
through.
opening,
But
get
what
through.
a lot of people use that see that as a boring thing because it's slow, maybe not as exciting. Something like AFL or gridiron or American
Well, it's like
football.
basketball, right? Where basketball has the shot clock.
Yes,
You have to make a shot before the
have to
timer
make a
goes
shot.
down.
Yeah, right. So the whole idea is they're creating like a big football league that is like that. So you can't any overside tackles is red card straight away. So you have to be smart about your tackles. And then like what happens a lot is like people will, because you got a yellow card then a red card. Like a player will intentionally like take out a player in a not as bad way so that they can make sure they don't score the goal. But it's clearly they're just kicking the guy over so that he can't get the goal.
Because you'd rather yellow card the guy. You'd rather copy yellow
you
card
cop the yellow card, right? Because then you don't get a red card.
instead
you
of
don't get
the
fined.
dude trying to go for a shot.
So this is like instant tackles is red card on a smaller pitch, no turnarounds. The idea is it's like fast paced and it's going to be like.
So he's making football for like the viewers. Like
Yes,
a viewership based.
It reminds me more of like when you see like a movie where they've got like people dueling or something like that. It's
Yeah.
more like that where it's like supposed to be this fast paced thing, and it's crazy. Like a few people have tried stuff like this. Like futsal is essentially like a kind of similar concept,
Yeah, correct.
where they've shortened it down, trying to increase the speed, smaller teams. Except that I think this one will have more legs because he's quite prominent in the internet culture, but also in the football, like soccer culture. He's very prominent there, and he's got some really big names on there.
Correct.
So it's interesting how these smaller.
Actually, it makes a lot of sense because he's a YouTuber, right?
Hold on.
So
Yeah.
entertainment is his business. So he wants to make entertainment sports.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When do you think pickleball was created?
I
Probably like 40 years ago.
Legitimately, until maybe 2 years ago, I didn't know what the hell pickleball was.
Okay, Danny was correct. It's like many years ago, like
Yeah.
1964.
So what do you think? Why is it so popular now?
Because the pickleball was made for kids.
It like takes momentum, I guess.
Oh,
It made for kids, and I guess during that time it wasn't really competitive because pedals was not really like the technology for pedals is not there now. Like in the current time, right?
Yeah.
Pedals are made like carbon fiber, so like there is a difference between like a normal fiberglass pedal and versus a carbon fiber pedal. It's like it's kind of like pay to win,
So I
kinda.
I listened to this like this business podcast where it's like a really well known like bootstrap business mentor in America. He like does it, and what he does is he over the like past 2 decades, he's been involved with and interviewed some of the biggest small business people, like the guy who invented Lululemon and like really, really big, like multi-billion-dollar companies, right? And because he's done it for a long time, he has this cred. So now what he does is he gets those owners back onto the podcast, and he has people with new businesses call in, and usually 3 callers a show, and they'll ask questions to these people that are like already like billion-dollar like business people like Mark Cuban and stuff, right? And he'll have them on there to then like mentor questions back to the people who are starting their small businesses. And it's really good because you can like, even if it's not relevant to the thing you're doing, for me it's like it's a lot of like useful information and like just like confirmation bias or whatever it is you want to have like from these guys who have like decades of experience, like a kind of thing. But in the past 2 or 3 months, pickleball has come up consistently where it's like, you know, this
They're
guy
all playing pickleball?
Well, they're like, it's like their business that he's calling me. He's like, oh, I've got like a pickleball racket company, and like we're trying to like, how do we market to a like outside of our state? You know, they'll be in like Texas or Ohio or something, right? And then the next one's like, you know, we've got a pickleball sports brand clothing where this yada yada yada. And then like one of them was like, they've started a premium pickleball clothing brand, almost like it's more like a golf, like any golf, you have golfing stuff that you wear, but you have a whole like golf clothing that is golf branded, but you would never wear it on the course. You wear it like to like dinner jackets and stuff like that, where it's like, so when you're at dinner at like some high-end restaurant, someone else can see you like, oh, I got this $300 golf jacket, and they both know you've got money and that you play golf. You know what I mean? It's not for golfing, and they've done this for pickleball. So there's like someone out there with a $600 like button-up T-shirt that someone else can be like, oh, he's both rich and plays pickleball. That's my guy.
They successfully
and they can go network with him.
Marketed to the upper class.
It's interesting how much has come up. So it's like, it's funny that you mention it, because me and my Lucas have been trying to look at things to maybe to do together. So maybe we can come play pickleball.
Hold on, where do you
with
play
guys.
pickleball, William?
Sorry,
Where do you play?
Where?
Are you playing right now?
Yeah.
Right now?
Well, I mean, right now. Not right now, but I mean, I'm playing at the moment. I just got I already ordered my pedal.
And
Have you gone full premium?
I went full.
Pickleball is 1v1, right? 1v1.
No, two. You can play in pairs or 1-on-1. Same like badminton or tennis.
Should we see who the best pickleballer is out of the three of us?
I'm so keen to be
Are
competitive.
you,
and
are
then
you
bad
good
at it.
in like racket sports?
I played badminton and table tennis pretty competitively when I was young.
Okay.
Ooh.
So if you play badminton,
If you guys want to play table tennis, I'm down.
no, I'm not.
I'll bring it on the table
I'll
right now.
play you, but I'm fucking bad.
Yeah, dude, let's go.
All right. So it's similar. The style of playing is similar. You serve across the
Yeah, I
court.
think it's like table
Yeah.
tennis, but I have to actually run across the field.
Yeah. The run is a little bit, not much.
Yeah, it's just smaller pitch, right?
Yeah.
Nah, and probably like competitive. I'm making all the noise, dude. That Serena
It's pretty
Williams
good.
grunt.
It's pretty fun. I like it.
What do you reckon Kang's noise is like? Or they're more like, ah.
Depends on where I get hit.
But it's fun. It's fun. Definitely fun. Yeah. It's different. Like, I like it.
Actually, it's not a bad idea to pick up a little bit of sports over the summer. Like something about the heat makes you, and the longer
What's
days.
summer? Do it all year round, bro.
Because it's indoor.
Yeah, but
That's
what
true.
we're starting now.
Yeah, we're talking about like the longer days, the heat makes you want to go out and do things, right? Instead of just being at home and like, oh, it's raining and miserable.
Yeah.
Because the same thing with skateboarding for me. Every time it's winter, I can't really skate for like weeks on end.
I guess it's more dangerous, right?
Well, it's just raining and miserable, and you don't want to be
The indoor pickleball.
You really don't want your board to be wet when skating.
Especially you know, we're all video game guys. Like, there's nothing worse than being in Australian summer. It's like, you know, when you maybe get like actually a little bit of time off, and you're sitting there and you're playing your video game, and it's fucking 40 degrees, and you're sweating, and all your under thighs are sweating into your leather chair.
Exactly.
Like, so gross.
It's pretty fun.
Speaking about sports where you have to put your money into as well, I had a couple of friends of mine recently I connected with, and they all want to get into cycling as a hobby.
Oh,
That is too much of a rabbit hole, right? You cycle.
I'm a cyclist, yeah.
Yeah. What would you say? Okay, let's say I'm being conservative.
Okay.
What would be my budget if I was to absolutely get started? How much money?
Budget?
Sure.
Bikes are expensive now.
3K maybe?
$3,000.
Yeah,
What?
COVID really jumped the price.
What?
I can't just go in and be like, can I buy a $200 bike?
No.
Yeah.
What kind of, that's like leisure bike.
I didn't even think a Kmart bike's costing $200 these
like,
days.
No, Big W is like 250 or something. 250, $400, yeah.
My mate Jay, who you've met, he got convinced into doing cycling by a girl that he was talking to.
Yeah.
And like next minute, we're down at like the cycle shop in Joondalup, and he was spending like $3K on this carbon fiber bike.
Dude.
And he was like trying to like go a bit lower, but like he also didn't want to look like rock up to this girl's cycling club and then like look like a povo.
Maybe I should just look at the secondary market.
He was like trying to convince me. I was like,
Yeah, he should sell me his bike and I would
G.
just buy for half price.
Problem with secondhand bikes is if you're buying like a carbon fiber bike, you don't know whether it's cracked. Yeah. But if you buy like an aluminum bike, that's
can
fine.
you crack test it? Can you put it, submerge it in water?
No,
Just take it to the swimming pool? Yeah,
So,
because then if it leaks
if I'm
bubbles.
spending $3,000 as a budget cyclist, what am I looking at? That's like
Sometimes you can get a carbon
that's
fiber.
like an entry level bike itself.
and then like you get like a basic group set. Like
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you a cyclist, Gang? Have you cycled?
It's very trashy.
I know how to ride a bike.
I'm not a cyclist.
So my bike is like full on.
Damn.
So I ride a
How much have you spent? How much is your bike?
so I ride an S-Works.
What does
So
that mean?
it's you have ever seen this bike called Specialized, right?
Sure.
So the next level is called like like Mercedes, and then you go to Brabus, right? So this is the Brabus. So it's S-Works. So it's Skunkworks. So it's
Luxury class.
so it's I have an older model. So I think it's like the two models out, but mine's like
What about
older model.
accessories like helmets and all that? Probably.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cheap.
expensive as well. So I run a
I'll wear my skate helmet. Close enough.
I run the
protect
lightest
my
frame.
nose.
Just above your head.
The lightest frame, the lightest group set, wireless.
Wireless.
What?
Yeah, wireless.
What is wireless?
How does that
mean?
work?
So like you have your gear shifters, right?
Yeah.
And then your
Yeah.
brakes. So my cables only brakes. So my gear shifting is all wireless.
What does it use?
Wi-Fi.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wait,
Have you not seen it?
I drive past William, hack his Wi-Fi, turn the speed all the way
Yeah, you
up.
can't hack it. It's like protected. They
Yeah,
already
that's what
tested it.
everything they said they can't be hacked.
Yeah.
The Commonwealth Bank has been hacked like 4 times this year.
So yeah.
Government themselves. I got a friend of mine who works in the ATO, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we got hacked."
Good luck, yeah.
So it
Yeah, I've been hacked. They still haven't fixed that. Fucking nightmare.
the wireless function. So you see less cables on the bike, so it feels more seamless. Like it's
Yes,
it's
and
cleaner.
also like lighter as well. Still,
Yeah.
What's the
lighter.
longest cycling you've ever done, King?
I don't know. Road to the city, I guess.
Ooh.
It's like a solid hour.
One
of
day
riding
we
a bike.
hired bikes at Rottnest, and Daniel at 100 about 10 kilos when he was at gymming thought, oh, this is fine. And I got one of those little carty things that you put the kit in.
Oh, that's rough.
I like dragged him around the thing all day, and I'm as a 110 kilo man sitting on a bicycle having that
very
that
uncomfortable.
seat just try to like enter me at all times for the entire day. I was real sore for
You get any
like
chafes?
like 3. It's more like the bike was trying to make a love to me, I think. You know what I mean? Like, it's just there's so much gravity weight of me
Yeah.
going down onto a small seat, and then you're cycling hard, so then the seat is trying to go up, and it's just too much.
Kid
And
me used to bike
it
all
was
the
real
time, but that
pain.
wasn't just because of a hobby. It was just more like kids used to just bike.
Yeah,
the
we used to have to bike
technology
to
is
school and
just
stuff.
crazy now. So it's just insane.
You know what? When
Is it a hobby that's worth getting into though? Do you think it's?
I like it.
satisfying?
Like
You
it's worth. For me,
You
it's
go
worth.
around town, visit places,
Because
satisfying.
okay, let me tell you this why I think it's worth. Like only one reason. Right?
Okay.
So when you drive, you don't look at your surroundings, right? So when I ride a bike, let's say I go to Darlington, I'm going through the scenery.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I can
yeah. You gotta soak it
actually
in.
like I can enjoy the scenery.
It's a similar experience
while
to
going
why
through it.
people like recreationally motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You motorcycle down, say like the seaside, and you kind of
Correct.
soak in your view.
Correct. So a lot of things like, oh, I didn't see this before. I pass by this every day, but I didn't see it. But
Yeah,
when you
you're
ride the
focusing
bike,
driving.
you get to see it. So that's a big difference. That to me is the biggest difference. And the thing is, you ride far, and then you get to see a lot of things that you've never seen before when you drive a car.
But what William describes as well, like the passion you put into upgrading and making everything nice, the tippy top end, in the small scale, it happened to me when I skateboarded as well. Like in a very lower budget, obviously. Everything has to be like the top end stuff, like the nice maple woods, the hollow steel, the wheels are good.
I like to think that like Kane's got spinners.
I got
on
way
his-
too many
on his
hobbies that's
skateboard.
too
Yeah,
expensive. I got way too many hobbies that's way too expensive.
It is what we're in, right? One hobby brings on another. And then we start pickleballing.
It's like
instead.
you think like Warhammer is expensive. Nah, Warhammer
Could be worse. Could be worse. Could be into crack.
That's why I know money for crack.
You can always fall back on crack, right? It's always an
Probably
option.
crack is cheaper.
You know what's funny? When people tell me that don't get into Magic the Gathering, drugs would be cheaper. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Which is ruining life quicker, do you reckon?
Yeah. You can spend $90 in a commander deck and you'll be all right. For
Are
the
you
next
more
couple
likely
weeks.
to find a girlfriend playing crack, using crack, than you are playing Magic?
I think if
you probably are.
I think if you are selling crack, you could probably find a crackhead girlfriend.
True, it's
Yeah.
true. Seen it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen it? So talking about the topic we mentioned last week as well, you've been doing a lot of night deliveries for the city.
Yeah.
How are the creatures around?
The weekend nights are significantly worse, obviously.
The
than,
weekend nights?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. And Monday night is actually pretty bad as well. Like surprising, but like
Why the weekends?
But where did they get the money from?
I guess like stealing things.
Okay.
Like
The
selling
government?
their
I don't know.
bodies. Yeah,
Do you still get the doll if you're homeless?
yeah.
No, I don't think so because you don't have an. This is something that I learned recently. Like,
Yeah.
why do people? I'm not saying like being homeless is bad. Like, why do homeless people stay homeless? It's not because of they can't get like support.
Yeah.
It's because they don't have a fixed address.
Yeah, I've heard this before.
Yeah,
You can't
so
get the.
if they don't have a fixed address, they can't get the support they need. So that's why they're like stuck.
You're just stuck there.
Yeah, you're stuck there. So they first need to get like a fixed address, but you can't get a fixed address if you don't have the money, right?
I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. My information on this subject used to be quite robust, but maybe a little bit less because I paid less attention to it recently. But in WA, there was always, for the longest time, always enough housing for only homeless people that were here. We had way more housing than was necessary for a very long time. But obviously since COVID, that's changed drastically and the rate of homelessness in WA has gone up significantly. So like that's why, I don't know if you're driving around Perth, you'll see a drastic increase in the amount of like people at like traffic lights and in the city, like panhandling, all that kind of stuff as well. It's something that's drastically increased. And because it so went over our infrastructure for that, there's no way to handle it, and that's why you see such a large amount of it. And most of the time when you still saw people like say sleeping in parks in Northbridge, that was 100% out of choice. Like they really did have the support there if they needed to. There's plenty of like halfway houses and places they could go, but now they're overbooked and overfull with a lot of time with just people like families and people that are just being hard done by, and they just need somewhere to stay rather than actually be
What happened to the COVID facility that we built?
It turned into, I think it got turned into a prison, I'm pretty sure.
Wait, we were building a COVID facility?
Yeah. They started it I think they announced in 2021, they started in 2022, end of 2022, then COVID ended. And they were
What was it supposed to be? Just a giant shelter?
where they were going to put immigrants coming in that might have COVID.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can use that, right?
I think it got turned into a prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Very nice prison then.
Yeah, I know. There was, I know quite a lot of tradies that did a lot of work there, and there was a lot of money getting poured, like millions and millions and millions of dollars.
All prisons are government, right, in Australia?
Yes.
So I don't think we have privatized prisons.
No.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
But it's mostly run by
America
private.
has privatized prisons.
Really?
Yeah,
America's
most
prisons
of them
are
are
privatized.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's
So
why the prison system in America is such a debatable thing because it's a profitable thing, like incredibly
They have
profitable.
quotas. The prisons have quotas.
Yeah, so it's a lot of it's discussion of like, well, are they getting people for crimes that they shouldn't get done for,
And they get them to do like basically cheap labor.
like slave labor. Yeah, and because the government's rebating them for like every person that's in jail, so their incentive is to make sure as many people.
It's
go
the
into
most
jail as
American thing
possible.
ever, where everything is free market, company go wild.
Yeah, crazy.
You got any good stories?
Yeah. You know, one time a friend of mine were walking down the street and a guy came up to us and he's like, "Hey, guys, do you guys want to do ketamine?" And we're like, and he opens up his wallet and the ketamine was just in his wallet, just crushed up into powder.
Did he look like a guy who would sell ketamine?
He looked like a guy who would use ketamine.
Oh, okay.
What's ketamine?
Ketamine is like the horse tranquilizer drug. So it's like,
Why do you want to take that?
because it sends you.
Why do you take any drug with
Yeah,
you
yeah.
for the trip?
It's
Yeah, I don't know. This is something that I don't understand.
it's closer to like I've never used ketamine, so I'm only talking from like base level education here, right? But it gets you exceptionally high, sends you close to like a psychedelic trip sort of. But if you take too much, you can go to something they call a K-hole, and a K-hole is where you
KO.
You see God.
yeah, well, it's almost impossible to get you out of the high, and then you start getting like I've seen people get very like anxiety.
Whoa,
and
you can
stressed
reach
out
a
about it.
cliff where you just fall off.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like, well, you basically just lost your mind.
Right.
Like your brain has just snapped and it's
Cool.
never coming back. And that's why people get schizophrenia and stuff like from that.
Crazy.
So not ideal. Definitely not.
We should give all our homeless
You know,
ketamine.
I was up for like maybe a beer or two that night.
I came
man's
from like a
ketamine.
country where drugs gets you death penalty.
Yeah.
In Malaysia,
Yeah.
Singapore, in
I'm assuming you
Indonesia.
saw a lot less people who have clearly done drugs on the street.
No. That's a lot of people doing drugs.
Really?
Of course, definitely a lot. It's just that people do drugs is fine. People who push drugs, not fine.
Well, clearly people are still getting their drugs from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
the
the
drug
market is
pushers,
still there.
That's
drug pushers
effectively
will
the
get
same rule in
problem.
Australia. Like you can have very small amounts.
If you push drugs, you probably get into jail for like 2 years, right?
Oh yeah, it's there's no death penalty.
Yeah, Malaysia's like 1 gram, you're dead.
You know what like the bikers do a lot in WA is they'll use kids that are under the age of 15 so that like
Yeah,
to sell the
yeah,
drugs.
yeah.
Then where they go to like the
We
kids can't
all
get in
have the
trouble.
classic story of the kid in high school selling weed.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, like where I grew up, it was like they were selling like meth and like ecstasy pills and stuff like that. It was like where I grew up, it was like it was very close to where like a certain kind of gang had a influence. So a lot of kids I knew like ended up being like, you know, like subbies essentially for the drug
How do they? I guess there's a plausible deniability if the kid rats as well.
Well, yeah, the kid's not likely to because he's scared out of his fucking mind. Like,
Were they going to slap on the wrist for the 15-year-old?
Yeah,
they can't send him to
the young
anything,
kids
right?
effectively don't get in much trouble at all. Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And like, it's crazy that influence that has because like you go,
I don't know. Like, I know like there was a kid who stole a parcel from my friend on my door, and I got him on camera, reported to the police, got him. And
They actually caught him.
Yeah, caught him. And, like, got him, and then what the police said, like, oh, we can't do anything, but we could ask him to write you an apology letter. I'm like, I don't want any apology letter. I want my stuff back.
What's the point of that?
Yeah, I don't want to read your apology letter. It's just pointless.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I
when
don't
you
know.
have you know when you wander through the city and you have the guy who's like muttering to himself, he's on cat.
No, it could be
Just 'cause you're
anything.
general schizo?
Most of the time, like when you, I've had quite friends who've been like counselors and stuff like that, and they've worked with people that have like who've done a lot of drugs over the years. A lot of the time, once you take enough of any of those kind of things, it's the same as like if someone works in a place that has like bad chemical control, right? If you're working in a company that like uses chemicals to paint like cars, auto parts, right? If they don't have the good controls, that stuff is slowly degrading your brain over time. And the drugs are the same way. So at some point, your brain is just not connecting the electrodes in your brain just aren't connecting the way they're supposed to, and it starts to degrade. And that's why if you see, but your whole body degrades at the same time. If you look at someone on the street and they look a bit hard done by, you can notice by their jaw if they've done that because their face has started to like pull back and deteriorate and stuff like that as well.
There's the general the go-to signs like the bad skin, the teeth, and the weight loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And like any of these symptoms for like the mental health side of it can be very serious, and it's quite obvious. But all the drugs might do different things, but from an outside view, it's effectively doing the same.
What about
thing.
the loud ones? The ones where like you're walking down the street and they're just shouting.
It's just it's the same way as like when someone does boxing, right? You can do boxing 100 times and then you get the wrong hit. And now like you see like the NFL players getting concussions and then ending up being like
CTE, right?
Yeah. And then having like big issues with like violence control and that kind of thing.
Oh, dude, the CTE thing is actually, this research on CTE was only like in the real like last 10 years, 20 years. Before then, in the sports and science field, it was just kind of like, concussions aren't real, walk it off.
Yeah. And that was the big thing in the NFL when they clash against each other. NFL? That's the American one, right?
Yeah, NFL, yeah.
They found the concussions worse than any other sport, including like boxing or UFC, any of those. And right through the like 90s into the 2000s, you had a lot of guys who ex-NFL players, having really unfortunate run-ins with like their wives or like family members, their children, like just strangers, and like really getting very violent. And is all completely related to the concussions and the damage they're doing to their brain.
Because the damage to your brain, the CTE, is basically degenerative disease. Your brain starts to die.
Yeah.
And it affects the emotional part of your brain first.
Yeah.
Because that's like the higher level of brain function. So that's what they think, why, Chris Benoit, the wrestler, because the WWE guy who like murdered his family and then killed himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, have you heard about it?
I know.
This was like during like early 2000s.
Chris
WWE.
Benoit,
Benoit, he whole controversial case where he was a murder suicide. The news and everything chalked it up to like roid rage, or he had like mental issues and stuff. And then research further went on that I was like, oh no, he had pretty bad CTE. And that his emotional control wasn't there, and just had a moment where he snapped.
You can see it in really famous boxers like Mike Tyson's is one. Like Muhammad Ali was a big one. Like by the end of his life, his conversation skills were dramatically less than what they were.
That's a Parkinson, right?
Yeah, and but like the Parkinson's used to be thought it was like genetic, and there was this, and there was that, and now it all just seems to be damage to the brain. And you can damage your brain in lots of ways, like lack of sleep, bad diet, all those kind of things.
So if you want to be a billionaire,
Too much Red Bull.
fine. Regeneration for brain.
Do you guys follow that guy on Instagram who does that?
What?
Does regeneration on brain.
Is it one of those like if you go on an 86-hour water fast, you will cure cancer?
Brian Johnson. You should look him up on Instagram.
Oh, I know the guy.
Yeah, so
he's the Instagram guy, right?
Yeah, he's a guy who sold a app.
Doesn't he have a podcast?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I just follow his social media, right? He designed some massive app and then he sold it back to Microsoft, I think it was, or not Nvidia, maybe Intel. Maybe I think he sold it back to Intel, and he made like a lot of money, massive amount of money, right? And he's basically spent all of his money trying to de-age himself. And he gives away all the information for free. He does sell like supplements and all that kind of stuff. So he does have these other ways that he, he can make money. So some people say it's biased, but he does give you all the information up front, and like with the information to be able to, if you don't want to buy his supplements, he's like, even you can go get anybody's supplements. So he gives you all the information. He doesn't put it behind a paywall that he won't tell you. Like he will just put up an Instagram post where he's like, I've spent $1 million in the last month trying to work out which creams or what kind of chemicals are going to regrow my hair the most. Here's, if you're going to go buy a hair growing cream, ignore this and definitely like look for this stuff.
Real?
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He's like, he's not selling. He's like, I sell one here and this is what I sell. But if you want to go buy somewhere else or in your country where you can't buy my thing, here is all the information you need to go do this thing without giving me a cent. And it's like, his heart rate, I think he's in his 50s now. His heart rate has gone back down to around when he's in his 30s. His skin regeneration, his collagen, like all his joints, his ligaments, his sleeper thing. He's got a 17-year-old son, or like maybe early 20s now when it's now years. And the son's age has been winded back about 5 years. And then his father's in his 70s, and his father's has been regenerated about 15 years. And it's all through, this is a guy with millions, basically infinite amount of money that he can spend on doing this stuff. And doing all these studies, and he does like all the red light sleeping, and
Sounds like Elysium to me.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. But if you look at his skin, he's clearly 50.
Well, I subscribe to a lot of the kind of classical way science is going nowadays. Who was to say that in 100 years from now, like death becomes an option?
Well, that's essentially what he's trying to achieve right now.
Because I think if you give 100 years, like the rich can become immortal, and that's dystopian.
Yeah.
Because
Elysium.
if you think, even if it's not say like your physical body stays alive forever, let's say like the classic sci-fi
brain in a
trope
jar?
Well, yeah, not even brain in a jar, but you think about how now what Elon Musk doing the thing where he puts the chip in your brain now, and you can.
Earlier before the podcast, you said you were going to ask us which animals we think we could fight.
Yeah.
If you could live forever and you had to move your brain from a body to body,
Yeah.
which animal would you put your brain in just like for one stint in between bodies, human bodies? So let's say you go body every like 80 years, maybe not even 80 years, you probably like 40 years, you get yourself a new body, right?
Sure.
So every 40 years, you've done this like 3 or 4 times, you're like, fuck, I'm going to be a crocodile this one. And then you just like, be like, all right, when I'm done crocodiling,
Sure.
just put me back in a human body. What animal are you doing?
John Jones.
John Jones.
Is a UFC fighter.
Oh my god.
But anyway, the
John Bones Jones, arguably the best UFC fighter ever. Have you seen that reel came out?
well, he fought again recently as well. And
I know,
he
and he
still won. God
fucked
damn it!
him
What the
up.
fuck?
That knockout was crazy as
He's
well.
30. He's 30 something, right?
Yeah.
He's up there. He's almost 40.
I liked it. With this John Jones guy is very impressive, right? And he's consistently,
He's built for fighting, man. The man's limbs are way too long.
yeah, he's consistently regarded by other UFC fighters as the best UFC fighter of all time. So it's like he's definitely got a strong rep.
I hate to say he's the best because I'm always going to say he's like probably like top 5 honorable mentions, right?
Well, who else is gonna like top him?
GSP and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I guess so.
but like, there's always
Yeah, no, right.
debatable. You know,
Yeah.
Anderson Silva as well is up there at some point.
Yeah, and
So-
poor Anderson, like, do you know much about the UFC?
Nah, not much.
Anderson Silva should have like given up. Well, he should have retired a long time
Yeah,
ago.
but he was making too much money
Yeah,
every time
do you
he
think
came
he
back.
spent all his money and he had to get the payout?
I don't know. Maybe he has kids.
One time, Anderson Silva checked a kick and his entire shin snapped in half.
Snapped, yeah.
Snapped in half, William.
Yeah, rough.
Snapped in half. He went to stand back down on
McGregor
it,
had the same
and
thing.
it fucking 90 degrees.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you want to get grossed the fuck out while you're eating your breakfast cereal, go Google Anderson Silva shin snap. It's actually the worst. But because he like when you check a kick, you just raise your shin so your shins clash against each other, right? And the idea is that obviously that's gonna fucking hurt. The idea is that you move your shin in a way that it absorbs the shock a bit.
Yeah.
So theirs is
But if
gonna
you go
get
hard
hit.
90 degrees,
Yeah.
your shin is taking all the brunt on one point.
So like imagine you've got like I'm doing my 2 fingers like someone's standing. So he brings his leg up to check and he stops it and his leg snaps, but he's in the motion of fighting, so he knows to get back into his stance. So he puts his leg back down the ground. The foot hits the ground, but there's no there's
no resistance.
Resistance,
There's
yeah.
no
There's no
recoil.
resistance, and he just full force to the ground.
accordions.
It's a fucking
GG.
nightmare, bro.
But anyway, the whole thing with like now we can control like eventually, let's say down the line, we're able to control computers through our brain, and our brain effectively works similar to like our computer works, right? It's electrical impulses and synapses. What's to say down the line they're able to imprint someone's entire like brain onto a computer, and then they use the computer to re-upload it to someone else, right? Or et cetera, et cetera. Like this is the classic.
I definitely
sci-fi
wire
thing
my
of-
brain by accident.
Well, exactly. Yeah, use too many viruses. It's the classic sci-fi trope of it sounds fantasy now, but what's to say 100 or 200 years in the future where the rich can just stay alive forever because they can afford these things.
Well, I don't know how close
Imagine if we had like a Warren Buffett forever. That's
true
dystopian. Why not?
100 years from
wouldn't
now,
you?
just still buying Woolworths stocks. Like, I don't know how true it is, but like often when they talk about brains, they can talk about how many like mega gigabytes of like storage they've got, right? So it's like, is it just a directly translatable thing? Can you download?
Well, your brain effectively works on electrical impulses. It's like your brain juices are just electricity.
I wish I could
Cells.
I want to be able to do an upgrade so I can remember things. You know what I mean? Like
Well, Neuralink,
Buy
right?
an
That's what he's trying
upgrade.
to do. Can you imagine you go to Elon Musk being like, I need to remember more.
Can you imagine
things, bro.
like I'm bad at math? I want to buy the math 101 package.
Matrix, right?
I need to like remember my mum's birthday. I'm 33. I should remember. I should be able to remember my mum's birthday.
Right now, if you want to remember, you put it on your phone. 100 years in the
Yeah,
future.
but I
you
don't
put it in
remember to
your brain.
check my phone. I don't need to check my brain.
Yeah,
Maybe I do. I don't know.
maybe you do. Anyway, the whole topic of whether what animal we could fight was because William went to the zoo.
The zoo is like half of the zoo is closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
William today came in and was like, "Oh, I went to the zoo," and I was like, "That's a great podcast topic. We can talk about what animal we can fight."
What do you want to fight an animal for?
What do you mean? Every dude out there's like, "Oh, can I take on a gorilla?" No, you can't. You cannot take on a gorilla.
I'd let the gorilla love
Dude,
me,
you
and then I'll
can't even
escape
fight
at
a
night.
dog.
Like, you could probably beat a monkey.
I could fight a dog.
Oh, could you beat a monkey?
Really?
Chimpanzee, no.
Depending on the size of the monkey.
Yeah. Fight a pit bull.
I fight a pit bull. Just punch a little fuck in the face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I'm face to face with a pit bull, I have a decent chance. The pit bull has to try to ambush me, right? That's the whole thing.
I've been attacked by a dog once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like
How'd you go? What dog was it?
It bit me. You lose.
Did you lose?
I punched it and it ran away.
I don't think like if you fight like a
Like we could all beat up a cat,
I was real mad about it because I don't want to hurt
what
animals.
if the cats claw you and shit?
but you could beat a cat.
You should be able to beat a cat. William.
I don't know.
You've got children. You've got to be able to defend from a cat.
I'll just take a stick of whoosh.
What animal would you
what
want to
is
see
the
William
highest?
fight?
What is the highest tier of animal you reckon you can fight?
Oh.
Yeah, what is the hardest animal you can think you can fight? William, you said you can't beat a cat. Come on, you can beat a cat.
If it's an angry
could you
cat.
beat like a Labrador?
Yes. A Labrador wouldn't fight back.
I don't want to fight the
But
Labrador.
it knows it has to kill you. Like
I don't think it got it in him.
you're getting in a ring. That animal knows it has to kill you, and you have
Like
to
it
kill
hasn't eaten for like 3 days.
No, it just in its brain, it's programmed to kill you.
You
and
watched
have to kill
Gladiator,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
Not yet.
In one of the like, it's not like a spoiler. In one of the scenes, because there's like they're in an arena, they get like they send tigers
Yeah,
and shit
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
In this version of Gladiator, one of them is like they send monkeys at him. What kind of monkey was that?
Like starved monkeys. I don't know. I'm assuming some crazy howler monkey from Africa.
that looked pretty fucked.
I
think
not
that-
want to fight that.
That monkey would
They
have
got
killed me.
Sharp ass teeth, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, but monkeys are real strong though.
Yeah,
Chimpanzees are.
Yeah, I'm fucking real strong.
No. The monkeys are
The
small,
monkey
right?
is stronger than you.
To be fair, though, I don't want to fight a chimpanzee. They know how to fight dirty.
Yeah.
They'll like grab your dick.
In my mind, maybe 5-10
could
years
tear
ago,
you
I would have fought
apart.
pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Like if I can't fight it, I can probably outrun
Do you
it.
reckon you could beat?
But today-
you reckon you could beat up a leopard?
A leopard.
No.
Any of the larger?
I know there's
cats, right?
mountain like lions in
The
America
problem is
kill
they
like
have,
30
they
people
have
a year.
inbuilt
Yeah,
weapons.
probably.
Wait, hold
we
on.
lose.
These kind of animals, they have inbuilt weapons. You
Yeah.
don't. You,
Have you seen my guns, William?
bro, inbuilt, bro.
Where do you think my
inbuilt.
guns are?
You have no guns.
Yeah.
You have no guns.
You reckon you can beat a goat?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Goats are dumb. You know when a goat's charging at you, you can just like grab by its horns and it just can't do anything now.
Okay.
You can like if you're like
All I can
Well,
say.
could you beat a pit bull?
No.
what? You got legs. Kick the guy.
It's easier.
Like I'm not condoning hitting
hold
animals
on.
at all.
No,
alright?
Easier said than done.
But it's you're getting in a ring. You have eyes on it. It has
Yeah.
eyes on you. You're
no.
approaching. it.
I'm just saying, like, if it's a fair
It's
fight.
not. It's not like it's trying to ambush you right now.
Look, that dog has weapons.
Yeah.
I might not have that weapon.
Do you just auto lose to anything aquatic? Could you beat a dolphin?
Nah, dolphins fucking me up.
Yeah.
You seen videos where like dolphins bully other animals? That's
yeah,
me.
good point.
They're just nosing like.
Yeah, we
thing
lose
out.
the aquatic fights.
Yeah. People
Home
think
turf
they can like
advantage.
fight sharks. Sharks fucking
No,
me up.
fuck no, bro. I do not want to fight any shark.
Do you know that like if you're like calm though, if a shark's coming at you, you can just put your hand on its nose and
Oh
guide
yeah,
it away.
you're gonna be calm when a great white comes
But
at you.
that's how the great white guys do it. I'm not saying
That's what
I'd
I'm
be able to
saying.
do it.
It's easier said than
a,
done.
a guy who's learned it can do it. I'm not saying I can do it. All right,
Just like a pit bull.
I'd probably shit
Well,
my
a
pants.
pit bull right in front
Have
of
you seen how
you,
big those
growling.
great
and
whites
like,
are, dude? It's like
then
3
he's like,
meters long.
I can beat you. I can beat you, pit bull. Come at me.
I like the idea if you're like in great white infested water and there's multiple sharks and you're constantly just like Jediing sharks
I like
away
that
from you.
like you're thinking that a great white can come at me, and in my head I'm like, oh yes, wax on, wax off.
That's
You think
exactly.
you could fight a dingo, William? A single
Dingo,
dingo. Dingoes are
maybe.
fairly small, right?
Maybe.
Nah, dingoes are like a slightly bigger version
But
of a
wild, yo. Wild version's hot.
Like a single dingo.
They do steal babies.
Yeah, we're not a baby though, so we have advantage.
I don't know, man. William
I
over
could-
here
I
not
could-
fighting a sparrow.
I could
sounds-
fight at least 30 babies. Right?
like I bet if,
So a math
if there was a
math
zombie
says-
apocalypse and they were all baby sized, you think you'd be fine.
Yeah, if one dingo is, let's say, 10 babies, I'm at least 3 dingoes.
All I can say is easier said than done.
What about any of the birds?
What country do we have to go to? Like,
I'm definitely losing to a cassowary. Do
we
you
have-
reckon you can beat an emu?
No.
they're pretty dumb. Pretty dumb.
If they like fight you, like it's not like dumb.
What about a kangaroo?
Fight? Oh no, kangaroo. No.
Little kangaroo, yeah.
Little
Big
kangaroo.
kangaroo's giving you tetanus for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know how far you guys have been up north, but those big outback kangaroos are pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Still
If
strong.
you got like baggy clothing on, you're fine. You're actually fine.
Really?
Yeah, because it'll just when it tries to get you up, well, it's like things. It's unlikely to like.
Hit your stomach.
They're really like they're hard like big fingernail kind of things.
Yeah.
So if they get your skin, yeah, it's gonna hurt a lot. But if you got baggy clothing, it'll just get caught up in the clothing.
I thought you were going to say, like, you throw your clothing on his head.
we dress it up, so it's embarrassing.
And then you grab it, put it into a rear naked chokehold.
But yeah, like if you not get clawed by their feet, you're probably okay. But if it gets to your skin, you're in trouble because
Yeah.
they're just like they're all like they're not getting
They're strong as fuck.
they're not
right?
getting manicures. There's a jaggedy fucking feet teeth.
All right, so obviously, lose to a grizzly bear, and you probably beat up a
Is
koala
it in
bear.
hibernation or outside hibernation?
It doesn't matter. You lose. You lose to grizzly bear.
I don't know if it's asleep. I might win.
I don't think so. When you first throw the first punch, he wakes up.
Do you want to be the guy who punches awake the grizzly bear?
Imagine going into a hole and punching the bear.
That
And the
grizzly
bear's
bear
just
is
like what?
pissed off at you, dude.
Hey man, I had to sleep for the next 9 months. You just wake me up, you bitch.
Yes, and you definitely win the fight to a koala bear. So somewhere between a koala bear and a grizzly
Ooh,
bear is a bear that you
true.
can still beat. Can you beat up a sun bear? Like, there's a little black
Yeah, I don't think the sun bear's fighting you back.
I don't think you can
but
beat
no,
any
you-
bear.
These animals
like
know.
actual bears.
These animals know.
I don't think you can beat any actual bears.
These animals know they have to kill you too. 1v1.
Which bear do you
Training
think you
these
can?
fucking animals.
hold
What's
on.
going on?
Which bear do you think you can beat? Like actual bears, not like koala bear.
Ooh, Humphrey B. Bear. You know the one with no pants?
Yeah.
Actual. Actual.
I could beat up Yogi Bear.
It wasn't Yogi Bear supposed to be like a Canadian, like a big brown bear. That guy fucked you up.
No, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm fucking up a panda. Panda's not fighting me for shit.
True. Panda.
You seen those? I like the videos of the pandas like falling out of trees. If that bitch can't stay standing by itself, I'm fighting the bear. I'm
You can
fighting the
definitely
panda.
get behind a panda bear.
Okay, fair. That one's. I agree.
In the animal kingdom, the way you beat these animals is you get on their back, right?
Sure.
What?
Yeah.
Is it?
What animal can get you off their back?
Like a gorilla.
Okay, listen.
And like,
You know what's crazy? In the animal kingdom, like gorilla beats almost everything except a handful of animals.
yeah.
Yeah.
A
Like
hornet. But yeah, an animal is like, I don't know if you've ever seen dogs fight, but like a dog will roll on the ground in defensive of its back. So
Yeah.
I think most animals will be able to get you off their back.
nah,
Like,
but if I get a dog on its back and I have my arms around its neck, I win.
it's true. You're going to choke it out.
Yeah.
You're going to choke the dog out.
You just,
Are you gonna climb a ladder, then like crash into the ground? Well, you WWE wrestled the dog.
I'm gonna like those Dagestani boys from UFC.
And then when you're done with the dog, you can turn it into one of those hats they wear.
Exactly. You reckon penguins are a threat?
Nah.
Kick him away.
Did I send you that Instagram reel of the
What
penguin
about
falling off the
seals?
slide?
Would a seal be a threat?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
If it was like
Fuck
a
yeah.
leopard seal or something. Yeah.
The seals have sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did seal diving.
Lion seal.
I know, like, when we did the seal diving up
I
north.
like that William's participating now. Now he knows about the animals. He can fight.
I don't know. Most of the animals can kill you.
Nah, not
Yeah.
most animals.
Most.
You underestimate, like, obviously, like, yes. I mean, William's a point. The average human probably just hard loses to like 90% of animals. But you're never factoring in the human potential to be smarter
Yeah.
and faster.
I'm neither smart
You're
or
not
fast.
faster. You're not faster.
Well,
Definitely
maybe not
faster.
faster, but I could
Smarter, yes.
probably be more agile than some of them.
No. Heck no. You're not agile, bro.
I could be agile than some of them.
No.
What animal is more agile than Kang?
A lot. A lot.
Okay.
A lot.
Let's say a deer's coming at me. I
That's
reckon
more agile than
I
you.
reckon I could dodge a deer.
Nah, there's
Nah?
probably fucking.
Can you imagine if he kick, like the back kick you?
Oh yeah.
You probably break a rib or something.
Yeah.
What are you talking? It's wild animals, bro.
We all lose to the moose, right? Moose is.
Oh, yeah, we lose to the moose.
Stomp you dead.
Canada has that one on us.
Have you seen the mooses when they collide with like cars and shit? It's fucking crazy.
Well, I learned those bluefin tunas are like massive.
Yeah.
They're like meter long fish.
It's funny because I maybe when you're a kid you think tuna's really small because it comes in a little can, but tuna's huge,
Huge.
And human ingenuity. We've almost fucked them up to extinction. They're
Tuna
almost
and
gone.
salmon, dude.
Well, it's very different fish in different places and
But
sizes.
they're both commercially fished creatures.
Yeah,
But you can farm salmon, but not
tuna.
tuna.
I don't think you can farm tuna. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't need to
Tuna was
swim,
one of the
like,
apparently the
fast.
most popular species of fish in the ocean. To the point where back in the day they were like, oh, you can never run out of tuna.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, we're running out of tuna.
They said that about everything, though. They said that about our forests in Australia, and then they realized they like destroyed them, and they can't get them back now for like another 1,000 years. It's like we do this with pretty much everything. Humans are pretty shit.
You reckon you could fight an anaconda?
Okay, William, we're better than animals, not in like a good way, but like we'll
Could
kill
you beat an
right?
anaconda?
No.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Step on its head.
I reckon.
1v1?
Yeah, open
Yeah.
field.
I don't
It's
think you
not
can.
That
hiding.
bitch got no arms. He's got no arms.
Okay.
What if you step on its head a few times?
Yeah,
Just like-
see?
Okay. Good luck.
Man, if it got no...
Listen, I'm not going out and fighting an anaconda anyway. I'm not going
All
out
I'm
and fighting
saying
one.
is good luck.
Do you think there's anywhere in Perth that let's fight around?
Fight an anaconda?
I'll probably buy odds on the anaconda. Like I'll just buy.
Me? What kind of friend are you?
I'm buying the one that's definitely winning me
Listen,
money.
I'm just saying, sports entertainment fighting could be way funnier.
Yeah. What if it's pickleball but with snakes? Because then, like, you got a pickleball that you got to paddle the snake away. Because if you don't paddle it away, probably the snake gets you. Paddle snake. Snakes and paddles.
William's not confident, huh?
No, I'm not to say not confident. I'm realistic. I'm a really realistic person.
All right, what animal are you fucking up? Which
Yeah, if
which
you could-
doesn't
what-
stand a
what's the-
chance?
what's the-
Domestics.
What's that mean?
Domesticated animals. But you said you'll lose to a dog.
Like if it's like a pit bull, yeah, I'll lose.
You just like, but not a chihuahua.
Yeah. Like it definitely loses to a pit bull.
The Chihuahua loses to everything.
You don't tell me like you have confidence beating up a pit bull. Like an angry.
I don't have confidence,
Does it-
but I think if I went into a ring and it has to kill me, I have to kill it. At least it's a. I think it's like I'm probably fucked up, but I have at least a chance.
There's a
Yeah,
game.
you have a chance, but a lower chance.
There's a
than-
game here with the Patreons where we say ourselves which is the highest animal or the best animal we can fight.
Yeah, what is the extent?
And then the patrons can like,
we're talking. You're almost dead, but you still killed it.
but then the patrons can vote whether they believe it or not. So it's like how far do you stretch? Like, well, if I said a rabbit, the patrons would agree that I could probably kill a rabbit, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, I want to go a little bit higher.
Rabbits
so
die from you just being scared, right? You can just scare a rabbit to death.
Do you know my hamster was called Morty and it shit itself to death?
Oh, nice.
Well, if, it's
So
like-
William
I
can
was
beat
a little
hamster.
sad about Morty dying.
if you're saying like if you're almost dead, like versus
Yeah.
something, then I would say like yeah, you probably could beat a pit bull then.
Yeah.
you're almost dead. Like
That's okay.
That's like
we're talking about the extent.
Like I will feel like it's not even a 50-50. I'll feel like
We're not talking about your clean fight. We're talking about this is the
55-50,
maximum
like-
extent to what you can fight.
There was that guy in the
Advantage
army
to the people.
that was in Sydney Harbour, and they were doing a military swim in Sydney Harbour, like where the bridges and shit.
Yeah.
Well, a bit further down, but whatever. And he got attacked by a bull shark, and the shark bit off his arm and his leg, and he fought the shark off.
what?
Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you know what he is now? He's a conservationist for sharks. Fucking straight up. It's pretty sick. He's pretty.
Yeah.
He has he still does like lifting gym
Wait.
stuff. And one of his extensions
Did he
for his
kill
arm.
the shark? Or did the shark get away?
I think the shark got away.
Damn, maybe he's being conservationist so he can go find the shark. It's just a long game.
He's just done this whole thing to track down this one
He has
guy.
to fight and get revenge. You motherfucker, I want my arm and leg back.
He saved all these other sharks just to find this one shark and fuck him up.
It's like Moby Dick, right? That's what Moby Dick was about, kind of.
Yeah.
Sure. I never read the book.
That was the great enemy was Moby Dick.
Anyway, at the beginning of the episode, we went into this with a topic in mind. I wanted to ask Danny. So, Black Sheep. All right.
Oh yeah.
So, obviously, Black Sheep is a restaurant with a lot of heart and ideas and plans going into it. Do you have 3 dishes you definitely want Black Sheep to have?
I definitely want to go into baking our own bread so we can create something that I think is really special in that regard of the more we can make in-house ourselves, the more the better it's going to be. You know what I mean? Because we can really specialize in and make sure we use the ingredients we want, all that kind of stuff. So I really want to be able to make our own bread and do changing menus that, this week we can, when Nem comes up into inspiration of this new thing, we can pivot and make that thing for the month or the week, whatever. And you can really keep those juices flowing. I think as someone when we had a bit more time and when I was here at the club a bit more, Nem would be like, all right, what do you want to have for dinner this week? And I'd be like, an Indian curry of this regard. And he would then make it for the week. And everything that I've really eaten from his has been way above average to some of the best food that I've had. It's and it's I really want to be able to capitalize on that and share that experience. So something something with Turkish bread or some of the something really cool. We've done some really cool stuff.
Like a cultural bread.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And being able to move into these different things. We have a very barbecue theme of the general theme of what we're doing there, right? But I want to be able to have as much pivot room as possible.
It's a cool thing you said bread, because bread is never the hero of a dish.
Yeah.
But it's so important in so many dishes to have good bread, and bread itself is a whole science, because the making of bread is way more involved than people think it is, especially the different types of bread.
I think it can really round out a meal and make people feel like they're really at home. A lot of people in WA, their experience with sizzlers, I don't remember sizzlers. The people think that remember the most is that cheese garlic bread before your meal that's free, and people going back for it. I think this is a big part of when you're younger, your mum making I don't know, toast or a little Jaffa waffle things and those kind of things. It's something that you can really take that everybody recognizes as a staple to their food, and by implementing it in the right way can really make a big difference, and something really homey about that.
Yeah.
And very keen. I think outside of that, I think cocktail is a really big thing. I'm really keen to have a very robust cocktail menu. Especially these days, I'm not a big drinker anymore at all, but I do like the art and the science that goes into making a good cocktail in it.
Because a good drink is what makes the event of a dinner. Right, because you can come down for the food, but also whenever you eat, you also kind of want a nice drink.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that it's anybody can have a pint of beer. That's not that big a deal. But when you've the art and the science of a good cocktail really makes a big difference. And even they don't even have to be alcoholic ones. Obviously, the alcoholic ones make sense to begin with. But it's the flavor. And I don't know if have you ever guys ever done one of those the sit down meals where they pair the meals with the wine that goes along with it?
Let the chef take over.
No.
Take full control.
Well, it's what they'll do is they compare the wine to the food you're eating, so that the flavors and the things you're eating, it brings it out.
I appreciate that a lot, because I know very little about wine, so I prefer it when someone they can take control and be like, hey, we recommend you this drink with this meal, so it accompanies it. And I'm like, okay, I trust you way more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when that effort's gone in, it's kind of like when I don't know, if you go to like a movie, you like trust the people that made the movie to show you the thing, and then you can decide after whether you like it or not. But you're giving, when you spend your $30 on a movie ticket, you're basically giving up your option now because you've paid your money to them, right? And I think the meal is the same way. It's like someone has spent time and effort really like creating something. And working with Nem, what I've come to really appreciate is when he designs a meal, like it has like lettuce and pickles and stuff like that. He hasn't just like slapped. Some places are like this, it's whatever. But like he hasn't just slapped things in there. He's really spent time and like a lot of time thinking about how this kind of ingredients work. So even like pickles, when people take pickles off their burgers, I've always taken pickles off my burgers because the pickles are horrific, right? But Nem's got he's specifically chosen a very specific type of pickle that's been brined in a very specific way, and then he's mandolined it, which just makes it really like really thin, and the flavor profile is much more
it's more delicate,
subtle,
right?
Way more delicate, like much more subtle than in a regular burger. So you just get like a small hint of the brining rather than this like massive chunk of mush when you're biting through it. And I really appreciate that. I thought after eating the way that he implements pickles, and because over time as you get older your taste buds change, I thought maybe I like pickles now, so I started getting pickles back in some of the things that I would normally take it out in other places. No, pickles fucking suck. If you like pickles, you're a fucking maniac.
Bro. I love my pickles.
I like pickles.
But it's like
a bit of brininess in my burger, I'm all for it.
But then straight back to Nem, and I like the way that he does it, and they're amazing. And the same thing is like, I don't know, most people wouldn't have had access to this, but I can go get like the pickles that he uses from the jars they come from and eat those pickles straight off the thing.
So straight up the pickles just have a different flavor you like.
And then he had some very little mini pickles that I've asked him to get. We're going to try something different. And those ones, again, like he's gone to like a specific quality. They've been grown organically. Their flavor is much better, and I can eat them. And they honestly taste like they're grapes. It's like a pickle, like it's a little mini pickle, but it tastes like you're eating a grape.
I think I know the one you're talking about, right?
So like the quality of it is so much better.
They're little pickles, so they're snack pickles.
Yes, like little snack pickles. They're quite cute. What I wanted to do is, because that we do the cheeseburger spring rolls, and like when you buy a burger, there's quite often like you go to Varsity, there's a pickle like stabbed through the top of it. I wanted to have the cheeseburger spring rolls, but with the mini pickle stuffed in the top, because it's like a cheeseburger, right? I thought that was really cute.
Yeah, you get a little snack to finish your meal with.
But what was really important was if you go to a place like Varsity, you have that pickle that's jammed through the top. Like a lot of people won't eat that because it's kind of like a condiment, like a when you get like a side salad and it's clearly not a very good side salad, so you don't eat it. It's decorative, just there to make the plate look bigger. I really wanted like the element of this to be able to actually be edible. I don't want to just like jam some shit on there you don't care about, right? So I wanted to like go for a high quality one. You've got to adjust that in the price, but I'd rather people be able to pay 30 cents more for these like cheeseburger spring rolls and actually be able to eat these like actually very tasty little pickles on top.
So I guess so far you have bread is an important part.
Yeah, I love bread.
And then the drinks are going to be an important part. You have like a third aspect that you have to see that you really, really want to see from Black Sheep.
I think what's
like
really
a third dish that has to be there for you that really represents what you want from it.
There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot, but I really want to be able to focus on some of the lighter, not necessarily vegetarian, but vegetarian leading meals. Because like smokehouses and barbecue places have these massive
like option wise.
You can do briskets and burgers and like steaks and all this stuff, and they're really, really important to nail down and get really good. But a lot of the times these restaurants don't always cater to maybe the partner or the wife or someone who's on a bit of a diet.
You make a really good point, because realistically, especially here north of the river, the vegetarian or vegan option is always like an afterthought.
Absolutely.
It's never really been like
hugely.
You order it because you have to, but you really don't want the person that is a vegan or vegetarian to feel like they have to, they're ordering it because, it's the only option. They're ordering it because they actually enjoy what they're having.
Absolutely. Like we, at Burger Boy, we have, there's a couple highlights here where we've got it, but the people who come down and have some of our vegan burgers really, really enjoy them. They tell us they're some of the best burgers you can have in Perth. And these are ones that Nem has spent time on, really thought about the ingredients in it. But I would say compared to his regular burgers, it's like 5%, 4% of the effort that he's put into some of his other like meals that he's constructed. So if we can get that kind of like response from something he's put 5% of say effort into, imagine what can happen when we can do a sit down meal. And like, I don't know if you saw, if you were here when he did that cabbage for me.
That was great.
He baked an entire half cabbage in this meal, and it was honestly one of the most fucking tasty things I've ever had in my entire life.
It was a cabbage quarter, like seasoned, baked, and then it was plated over like a sauce that he had made, ground up.
It was like a hummus sauce that he made.
It was
out
real
of it.
nice, hearty, and it turned like the roasted cabbage had this almost like roasted taste to it.
Yeah,
you know? Like
and the consistently was
a
like
smoked feel to it.
the consistency on the outside was quite crispy, the inside was nice and soft. But it was like, hey Sam, I would never eat half a cabbage. I'm not good enough cook myself to make half a cabbage. It's so good. Same thing he did when he did the Brussels sprouts. Like you'd have to torture me to get Brussels sprouts down me. These things tasted amazing. I was like, I want more
Like a
fucking
salted honey
Brussels sprouts.
glaze.
Yeah, and I think that if you put that effort into those meals, it gives those people that are looking for something slightly different to really latch onto and like put a bit of effort in. Like I said, especially the amount of effort going into the northern suburbs is really low. And the same as like the steakhouses as well. There's some good places, but we really want to create somewhere that is quite memorable.
So now the question is, get it open, Darren. Get it open.
I know.
We all need that. Like, we don't want to hear about the food. We want to eat the food, right?
Well, that's what we're trying. Like, if you come down the boards at the moment, we're trying like some of the cakes and the other things we're doing. Like, we're selling sandwiches in the fridge now as well. It's like just a little bit of like help as we're like trying different things as we come along, you know? So very, very keen. I'm also keen to get open. I'd love to,
Make it happen.
turn that rent that I'm spending into some money coming back in.
Make it happen.
Even as someone from like Northern Boards, I'm eager to have a place where I can say, hey, let's go for a dinner at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Like I've had so many, you know, because I've been spruiking it for more than a year now. I had a lot of people that were expecting to have their Christmas parties at our restaurant this year. And I'm like, very, very sorry about that. Right. Even the gym over the road was we'd organized earlier in the part for them to have their Christmas wind up at the restaurant. So yeah, it's just one of those things, you know.
We're wrapping up this episode as well now.
I just want to finish one story. So you know, we're right back at the start. How I said the vice principal. Is that the word?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
He came to my house after I'd graduated school, and he knew that I painted Warhammer. Right? I'd like talked about it, and he didn't really know what Warhammer was. So he'd gone to. I believe it's the place in Bayswater. Used to be like a model train shop on the corner there, and he'd bought a bunch of like mini trees and like flock to put on my models, and I thought that was hell cool. Like he came to my house and he like knocked on the door and he spoke to my parents and like he handed me this like special tray of like all these different flocks. And it was such a nice thing for that man to do. So and it was. Maybe me and one other kid got like this gift from this guy that like was like a mentor to us at some time. It was something I
really nice.
thought about a lot.
Nice.
And now when I interact with kids like through sport or in any way that I do, I really think about what my impact is going to be and if it's going to be like a positive impact to kids in that way. So
it's important to remember as an adult, a lot of things come and go and they're less memorable the older you are. But for a kid, certain actions, like just the small things become way more memorable.
Yeah, they stick. Absolutely.
So like even just the act of giving a gift, you never know if that kid's going to remember that 10 years down the line. So yeah, it's nice. Very nice. It was good to see that you had like good connections with your teachers because I didn't get along with my teachers in high school. So primary school, that was me. How about yourself, William? Did you like your teachers growing up?
That's all right.
It was all right.
Not bad. I have some teachers that I didn't like, but we made up like become good friends.
What? You guys will become friends with your teachers after school?
No, I don't hang out.
Damn, dude. I left high school and I swore everyone off.
No, you got a bit like I can tell you like don't make bad relationships.
Yeah.
Because
Not
it's
too
coming
late.
back and bite you one day.
Not too late.
No, I'm telling
I'm a
you.
master of burning bridges.
I'm telling you, you need those relationships in life and in this life. You need connections.
Yeah.
If you're burning all your bridges, bro, you're not gonna make it alone.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make it alone.
Yeah.
God, definitely. If no matter how smart you are, never gonna make it alone.
You're absolutely correct. I think as you get older, especially as a guy, it's easy to get annoyed and pissed off at people for things. But the more amicable you can be, the more people you keep on side.
Better to have more friends than enemies.
Yeah.
Isn't that life advice?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, listening to this episode.
Cheers.
We're going to go play another game of Commander before we go home?
No.
Whoa.